tell you what it's time to do. Watch Robin Tooth build a 302.
All right, Happy New Year, everybody. We're back at the Toothaker Ranch, and instead of doing a bunch of flashbacks, you can go back to Project 302, Day 1, Day 2. There might be a couple others where we came back over here to do some grinding on some parts.
There you go.
That'll give you a good excuse to go back and revisit the early days of Project 302. But today we're back at the Toothaker Ranch because we need his level driveway. We're going to change the front shocks, change the oil, and put on a speedometer cable. I did buy a tachometer, maybe I'll show that in a while. But we've got some specific Lucas oil that's meant for muscle cars with older engines that need zinc in it, right, Toothman?
That's the stuff.
New oil filter that will actually match the color of the engine. Maybe you'll see that in a minute.
Rob's becoming a purist.
The Fram orange does not match the Ford red. Speedometer cable and new front shocks that I think is going to make a huge difference, because basically I have no shocks on the front right now. They're old. We'll actually show the front end bounce a little bit. Okay. But before we begin, what are we doing first?
First we're going to do a little health test of this engine. We consider it broken in now, and I want to do a few checks to see how healthy it is. First thing we're going to do is an engine leak down test. It's a lot of fun. Come on, let's pop the hood.
Leak down? Let's check it. Okay, Tooth, you mentioned something about a leak down test.
Right.
What you got here?
Well, we have a leak down tester here where we have positioned the #1 cylinder at top dead center, and we're pressurizing that cylinder with this amount of pressure, and then we measure how much the cylinder leaks. Ideally, if the cylinder was sealing 100%, these two gauges would read the same. A good engine will have less than 10% leakage. A racing engine will have about 2% leakage. Here on our nice fresh motor, oh, it doesn't look like that we're seeing much more than 2-3%.
Race motor.
There you go. So this is a good indication that the motor's sealed up tight. This tool can become very diagnostic, whereas if you do have excessive leakage, you can determine where it's coming from by listening. If you have a lot of air coming through the carburetor, your intake valve is bad. If you have a lot of air coming out your exhaust pipe, your exhaust valve is bad. If you have a lot of air coming through your crankcase breather, your rings are bad. So this tool does many more things than a typical compression test that people are familiar with.
Wow.
You got a healthy motor, Rob. This is a good sign.
Nice. I didn't expect this morning. Is this covered under my health insurance?
Yeah, it was under warranty, dude.
All right. Nice. Hey, it's hot out here already. I'm glad I brought a t-shirt. It's January in SoCal. I love this.
But bad weather's coming, but we're making best use of this day.
Nice. It's not bad by some other people's standards who are watching this right now, though. Okay, Tooth. To use that leak down test tool, you took out the #1 spark plug, and what are you noticing?
Well, I'm kind of noticing the dark and blackish color. It's indicating that this engine is not starving for fuel. We may be a bit on the rich side.
Really?
Which may not be overly concerning, but we'll keep this in mind as we continue to play with the carburetor. But the initial plug reading is telling us we're a bit rich.
Okay, I did put the 104 jets in there, and it is feeling really good.
And you can't argue that.
All right, so we'll just keep driving it like this and see where we go.
Right.
All right. Okay, Steve, now you took, that's the #5 plug. So on the other side of the motor, what are you seeing with this one?
Okay, again, we're seeing some darkness, but yet here on the back side of the insulator, we see that it's looking a little better. What we're seeing is this is the direction that the flame is traveling across the spark plug.
All right.
So this is kind of a good sign. We may not be overly rich. The rich condition we're seeing is likely the result of you mashing the pedal all day long and squirting lots of fuel in. So we mean
busted. All right.
So nothing terrible.
My gas mileage is sucking right now.
Your gas mileage will suck, but again, this is not a mileage queen.
No.
And it's better to be a little rich than it is a little lean. Lean conditions cause problems.
Okay, cool. Excellent. So we're looking okay?
Yeah, we're looking okay.
All right.
We need to get some miles.
Okay, Steve, I'm going into the sun, but we're going to take off the shocks from the top first, right?
Right. We want to loosen up the top of the shock here and remove these bolts.
On both sides, and then we'll do it underneath, huh?
Then we'll jack the car up.
Right on. Okay, if you all recall and you've gone back to Project 302 Day 1, that's where we pulled the 302 out of, so it's kind of a homecoming today. And our special guest today is Mike Woodley, CHS class of 76 with the rest of us. And Steve, you were just saying that some people did what in shop?
Well, I was commenting back to your jewelry box. Didn't you make a jewelry box in junior high or something?
No, I never had shop, but I had a jewelry box given to me, and that's for another discussion, another time.
I'm confusing my stories.
Yeah.
But in high school metal shop, this is one of the projects, making a little tire chock. Only reason we're pulling this up, Rob informs me, his wagon doesn't have an emergency brake, so I'm going to pull out my high school wheel chock.
I love it.
So we can check this thing up.
Okay, there we go. All right, did instructions come with that when you made it?
Pretty intuitive.
Incredible, high tech.
What's going on, Rob, man? Looks like you're doing an oil change.
Yeah, I'm looking at other stuff too under here. Looking okay. Want to make sure I stay a little on the sanitary side. Can you do that when you're changing oil?
Well, you do the best you can.
Okay.
And time to get this orange non-matching Fram oil filter off of here. It doesn't match the Ford red paint that I have on here, but this Motorcraft oil filter does. And please disregard the paint peeling off of the oil pan. The heat took over, I guess. But you won't see that from above anyway. This Motorcraft filter looks good.
Okay, here we are under the car, and as I'm trying to put these shocks in, we have a setback. I can get one bolt in, but there's the bolt hole for this bolt to go through. The bolt hole needs to be wider on both sides because I can't get this bolt in. Tooth is starting some fabrication to see what we can do. Okay, we got us an old-fashioned Panasonic radio with some old music, and we're going to do some old-fashioned fabricating, aren't we, Tooth Man?
We're going to do some grinding.
The professor will be grinding away. We're gonna make these mounting holes a little more rectangular shaped or oblong.
We're going to slot them.
Slot them up, baby.
Let's hope this goes easy.
Yeah. Tooth, that's a pretty industrial-sized Dremel tool.
Oh, it's a die grinder.
Die grinder. All right. Okay, Woodman, how did Tooth do?
He's grinding like a professor, all right.
I'm telling you what, Tooth is the man.
Nothing's going to stop him.
Well, nothing's going to stop him, all right. That's good because he's got one more to do.
Yeah.
All right, success. I'm telling you what, Professor Toothmeister does it again. I'm glad we were doing this at his house. He's got all the tools, all the cool setup.
The other side is such a problem.
Okay, check that out. This side was easy. Tooth Man, we are done with the shocks. We dodged some bullets. You did some nice machining work. Bada bing.
Bada bing.
My speedometer says I was 50.
Speaking of speedometers, next thing we've got the shocks in. We need to put some oil in, but we're gonna also put this speedometer cable in, and we've got a choice of two different calibration gears that go in the transmission for the speedometer. So we're going to try this one first. All has to do with the diameter of the rear tires and the gear ratio and all that. So we're just going to make a guess so we can at least have an idea of how fast we might be going.
There's where the speedometer cable hooks to the transmission. At low speeds, the speedometer seemed to be working okay, but when I got on the freeway, man, it started squealing, so I'm going to have to get that fixed. I did get a tachometer. You see it mounted there next to the steering wheel below the dash. I like the spot. I can see it through the steering wheel. And, you know, it gives me an idea of how fast I'm going.
All right, we wanted to see how good our new shocks were going to work. So the old shocks are still on here. How many bounces do we when I do that, it's bouncing?
About 3 or 4. Heck, it should suppress it within 2.
That's before new shocks. After new shocks are installed. What do you think?
Nice.
Not even a bounce. One little bounce.
Bouncing. Boom.
Okay.
You're rocking steady.
It's time for a road test.
Fire it up.
Okay, we're coming in the dog leg. Man, that feels good. We're going to accelerate out of this corner. Okay, the wagon is done. Today's tasks are complete here at the Toothacre Ranch and Auto Shop with the help of the woodman, Mike Woodley.
Yep.
So we getting rid of these old shocks.
Throw those things away.
We emptied another thing of oil.
Throw that away.
We just got back from In-N-Out. Haven't had a double-double for a long time. So what do you got here now, Toothman?
Adult beverage. A Boddington's, my friend. A wonderful British brew. Known for its creamy head and taste. Highly recommended.
Well, let's give it a
Enjoy.
shot. Thank you for all your help, you guys. Again, a team effort for Project 302. We hope you got a kick out of this one. Boddington's, huh?
Is that creamy smooth or what?
Wow, it is good.
That is nice.
That's a Boddington's.
That's
That is
nice.
I haven't encountered another beer that's like that. Boddington's.
Excellent.
Oh, the boys will be back now. You're part of the crew. See you next time on Project 302.